Hey everyone, it's Cameron from economytraveller.com, and today we'll be reviewing Jetstar's Melbourne to Singapore service in business class. When booking an international flight served by Jetstar's 787 widebody Dreamliners, you have the option of booking business class. Now you might be wondering, what do I get, and is it worth the extra cost? So all Jetstar business fares include the same extra wide seat, increased baggage allowance, entertainment, food and drinks, and amenity kits. Business Max, however, allows you to claim Qantas points and status credits. You can also use the lounges, and it also offers more flexibility around your cancellation options. When I booked my flight, I selected the entry-level business fare, not the max fare. My flight cost me $1,044, which included my connecting fare from Brisbane down to Melbourne, and then of course onwards to Singapore. Had I have just been flying from Melbourne, the fare was on sale for only $860, which I thought was incredible value. So since I started my day in Brisbane, I caught the air train bright and early to the airport. My flight in Melbourne wasn't until 12 noon, so they put me on the first Jetstar service at 7 AM. The first thing you need to do is check your bags, just like you would any normal domestic flight. You'll then have to collect them at the other end in Melbourne and re-check in for international. Because I've got Qantas Club, I'm using the lounge this morning. It's nice to get fueled up for a long day, and it's going to save me needing to order anything on the flight to Melbourne. Before long, the sun is rising and it's time for us to board. Because I'm travelling on a business fare, I can select any seat on the plane. So I've selected 1A. This will allow me to get first off the plane and save time when I have to transfer in Melbourne. It's a beautiful morning flying out of Brisbane Airport. So even though food and drinks will be covered on the international flight, you do still have to pay for anything you wish to order on board the domestic leg. There's no in-flight entertainment systems, so I'm watching a little bit of TV on my tab to help pass the time. Before too long, we're landing in Melbourne. Even though we're arriving at Terminal 4, you do have to make your way all the way over to Terminal 2 in order to check in for international. We actually pull up right next to the exact same plane we'll be flying on to Singapore, VH Victor Kilo Juliet. This is a 9-year-old Boeing 787 delivered to Jetstar in 2015. After collecting my bags and rechecking them in at T2, I head straight to the Qantas lounge. As I said, the lounge isn't actually included in the standard business fare, but anyone with Qantas Club or Gold status or higher can access this lounge. There's a much better spread than the domestic lounges, and there's plenty of space for you to charge your devices. Soon enough, we're ready to board our flight to Singapore. The Jetstar Business Class seat is laid out in a 2-2-2 configuration across 3 rows. I would describe this seat as the same thing you might get on a domestic business class flight, or if you were flying premium economy on an international carrier. I'm in 1A and there's great legroom. It's going to be a very comfortable daytime flight to Singapore. We were served welcome drinks with a choice of sparkling wine, juice, or water. Here's the menu for today. Based on my research, it seems to be the same menu across most Jetstar flights. We've got the choice of lamb shank, salmon, or a vegetarian pasta option. After a short taxi, it's time for takeoff. Here's that lunch menu again. Today, I'm going to go with the lamb shank. There's a full range of drink options from tea and coffee to soft drinks, juice, and plenty of alcoholic options, including wine and spirits. Before lunch, I'm served a packet of pretzels and a glass of wine. We were given amenity kits, which included all the main things you'd expect, such as an eye mask, a pen, earplugs, hand cream, and it was in this handy little tote bag as well. About an hour into the flight, we were served our lunch. The lamb shank was absolutely delicious. It was tender and juicy. And as you'd expect being business class, we were served on proper crockery with metal cutlery. Along with the lamb shank came a very small but tasty salad, some bread and butter, and a balsamic vinaigrette to go with the salad. For dessert, we had this orange cake. It was very tasty, but maybe just a little on the dry side. Also, how cute is this chocolate I was given after lunch? The in-flight entertainment screen has definitely seen better days. It was a little tricky to get it to work, but eventually I got there. There's a handful of movies and TV shows, but I would say that this doesn't compare to some of the other airlines' entertainment systems. Perhaps bring your own device just in case you're worried you won't be happy with the selection. The business class cabin has access to a single lavatory at the front of the plane. It's kept very clean, but the amenities are fairly standard and basic. You've just got some hand wash, air freshener, there's a couple of coat hooks here. One thing I've always loved about the Dreamliner is the LED lighting throughout the plane. We were treated to some stunning views as we made our way across the Australian outback. After almost 4 hours of flying, we're leaving the Australian continent. I always find the landscape so fascinating up here. You can also see that the windows have been electronically tinted. Unlike some airlines that actually lock these to a particular setting, you're free to dim and brighten them as you choose. I chose to keep them quite dim though, as passengers around me were sleeping. I tried a couple of drinks in the middle of the flight to pass some time. I had this alcoholic ginger beer, it was really nice. If you get hungry in the middle of the flight, there's actually a snack menu which has things like chips and chocolate and lollies, but if you're not happy with what's on the snack menu, you can actually ask for anything you like from the economy menu and they'll bring it to you free of charge. Now we're passing over Bali and you can just see the edge of neighbouring Java. Just less than 2 hours from Singapore, we're served our second meal service. Of these light meal options, I went for the chicken quesadilla. This service also comes with bread and a dessert. For my drink, I ordered a Pepsi Max. Check out this cute little Tabasco bottle. The quesadilla was quite tasty and the Tabasco sauce really helped. After just 7 hours and 5 minutes, it was time to land in Singapore. I just want to say that the crew were absolutely fantastic. They were really friendly and attentive, and anytime you needed anything, they were so quick to come to your seat. To summarise my experience on this flight, I would say that Jetstar Business is absolutely worth the extra money. You definitely shouldn't expect it to be full business class, there's certainly no flatbeds here, but for the relatively short flights that Jetstar operates on these, it's an excellent and very comfortable product. we arrived at Singapore Changi's Terminal 4. It's a hub for many low-cost carriers such as Jetstar, AirAsia, but it's also the home of Cathay Pacific. If you're flying out of T4 on Jetstar, and you normally have access to Qantas lounges, you can use the Plaza Premium Blossom Lounge here. I did it the very next day when I flew out to Bali on Jetstar. T4 is their newest terminal. It's basically brand new and everything works so well. The only inconvenience is that if you want to get the train to the city, you'll have to take the bus to Terminal 2. But buses are frequent, every 10 minutes, and the trip only takes about 15 minutes. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next adventure.